Evening everyone, it's Friday once again, and that means a sim racing video. Today I thought I want to have a little look at my trusty Thrustmaster TS PC Racer. It's been my daily driver wheelbase now for probably 2 years or so. So I thought, well, it'd be a good time to look back, see how it's done, see whether it's still worth a look halfway through 2020, because this is still Thrustmaster's top of the line wheelbase. They don't do a better one yet, and whilst everything is still out of stock everywhere, like everything is right now because of this bloody pandemic, you know, you may be watching this video further down the line when things are available, or maybe you're hunting one out on the used market or something along those lines, or maybe you're just wondering, you know, when things are available and back in stock, should you be looking at the TS PC? Or if you're on console, the TSXW for Xbox, which is also PC compatible, or the TGT, which is the PlayStation variant. They're all the same wheelbase internally, they just look slightly different from the aesthetics. So the TS PC does only work on a PC. If you wanted the TSXW, that would do Xbox and PC. And as I say, the TGT is just for the PlayStation. Now, prices, let's sort of give you an intro about these wheelbases before I tell you what I think of it. I've got the details up in front of me in case you're wondering why I'm looking at my screen every now and then. So the TS PC Racer is £500, and that comes with the open F1 style wheel, which is what came with mine when I bought it. Let me just get this round. You can see a picture of it there. So that's what mine came with. Now, you can buy quite a few different wheels for the Thrustmaster ecosystem. That's a nice wheel, by the way. I'm not a big F1 fan, but I really enjoyed using that wheel, and I played a bit of F1 2018 just because I like the wheel. So if anyone's wondering whether they should get one of those wheels, the answer to that is yes as well. So that's what mine came with. That's what it comes with for $499. $550 gets you the Ferrari 488 Challenge Edition. So I might put a screenshot of that up now if I think about it. In fact, yeah, I probably will. That's what £550 gets you. £487, which is the TSXW. Strangely, it's a bit cheaper than both the other versions. So the PC Racer with the open wheel and the PC Racer with the Ferrari 488 wheel. The TSXW comes with a Sparco P310 competition wheel, which is a lovely looking wheel, to be honest. I've not actually used one, but it looks great. But that's only $487, so slightly cheaper. Again, these are all out of stock, so you can't buy any of them at the time of making this video new anyway. There might be some scalpers on eBay or Amazon, you know, trying to rob you of your hard-earned, but, you know, do yourself a favor. Don't buy them at silly prices. Just hold tight, you know. It's really not worth giving them the satisfaction of robbing you of your coin. So yeah, anyway, slightly digressing there. Yeah, the TSXW comes with a Sparco P310. That's a little bit cheaper when available. TS PC Racer with the open wheel, $500. TS PC Racer with a 488 Challenge Edition, $549. Now, the TGT, which is the PlayStation variant, is 700 notes. Now, that's really strong. I haven't actually checked, but I think that's the one. We'll just have a quick look now. That has a tactile transducer bolted to the back. Let's just have a quick goosey. Yes, it is. So that's why they've added all that extra money on. Now, last I checked, that tactile transducer only actually worked with Gran Turismo, I believe, because that's why it's the TGT. So you're paying a lot of extra money for just a tactile transducer that only works with one game. You know, on the PlayStation specifically again. But if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. But that's £700. So that's the 4 variants available from Thrustmaster of this TS PC base with the differing wheels it comes with. Now, if any of you have paid attention, you might see from where you are, this isn't any of those wheels. Actually, you probably can't quite tell. It looks flat. I've got the Sparco R383, which is their rally wheel, because as some of you may know, I'm a rally sim racer more than anything, and that's what I've got on here. So there are quite a few different rims available, even more so than what I've just mentioned here. Now, the wheelbase down from this would be the T300 for console, or the TX for the PC and Xbox variant. That is, how much cheaper is that? Let's have a quick goosey. It's about £100 cheaper. That's $399.99. So depending on your budget, that's also a good option. All the same wheels fit. It's just £100 cheaper, and in my experience, because I had it before I had this base, it performs exactly the same. It's just not quite as strong. The torque figure isn't quite as high. Aside from that, performs and feels exactly the same. But anyway, we're talking about the TS PC, their top one. You might be wondering whether it's worth the extra £100 for that extra bit of torque. That's a tricky question. Depends how much £100 is worth to you. The extra torque is noticeable. It's not massive, but it is noticeable. So if you want it and you've got another £100, you'll go with the TS PC or TSXW or TGT, depending what platform you're on. So let's carry on talking about that torque. Really, it's very, very similar in performance to the Fanatic wheelbase, their belt-driven one, their top-of-the-line one before you go direct drive. So, and that's quite a bit more money. Have I got that up? Let's have a quick look at how much that is. Yeah, so the CSL, which is their top-of-the-line belt-driven wheel from Fanatic, is sort of £700, which is a fair whack. Oh, sorry, no, that was with a wheel. Without a wheel, it's £550. So again, it's about the same price as one of the TSPCs with the Ferrari wheel. That was also £550, but that comes with a Ferrari wheel. And also, that's another interesting point. Not only does it come with a Ferrari wheel for £550, you also get set pedals with it. You get the T3 PAs, and the TSXW also comes with pedals at $487. So for some reason, the TS PC Racer with the Open F1 wheel is £500 with no pedals, but if you buy it with the Ferrari wheel or the Sparco wheel, it comes with the pedals, and it's actually a little cheaper for the TSXW, but 50 quid more for the Ferrari edition. So I don't know why Thrustmaster have done that. Maybe that F1 style open wheel is particularly expensive to produce. Who knows? But should you need pedals for any reason, maybe you haven't got some and maybe you're just getting into sim racing, you may even be better off buying, if you're on PC, you could buy the TS PC Ferrari edition for $550, or the TSXW, which is technically the Xbox One but also works on PC. They'll both come with pedals, and if you want the open wheel, you could sell the Sparco wheel that's come with the TSXW, or the Ferrari wheel that's come with the TSPC, and then put that money towards getting the open wheel, and you're going to have the TSPC base and your pedals and some money to put towards a wheel. If you just buy the TS PC Racer with the open wheel for £500, you get no pedals, and you're going to have to go and buy those additionally. So weird sort of pricing structure here. So if you look at their website, you'll see what I mean, because it might sound slightly complicated without visual prompts. But yeah, there's a few different options there as far as which one you want to buy and which wheel it comes with, and ones that comes with pedals and ones that come without pedals. So a little bit confusing. But yeah, back to the comparison to the Fanatic, pricing wise. Wheelbase on its own, Thrustmaster, I don't know if they do the wheelbase on its own, I haven't actually looked, but you wouldn't need to buy it on its own because there's a few different wheel options there that come with them anyway. So yeah, it's cheaper than the Fanatic wheelbase by quite a bit if you then add in a Fanatic wheel, because the Fanatic wheels are pricey as well, just on their own. Should we have a quick look and see how much the steering wheels are? Because that would be useful for you guys to know. Should you be wondering whether to go Fanatic or whether to go Thrustmaster, you know, let's have a little price comparison. Wow, okay, yeah, there's some pricey stuff there. So the cheapest wheel they do, assuming this is listed by price, yeah, the cheapest wheel they do is £180 just for the wheel on its own. So if you bought the CSL for $550, you're looking at another £180, or this is probably euros, but it's very close. So yeah, €550 plus 180 euros, so yeah, you know, that you're getting on for sort of 800 euros all in, which is quite a bit more than the Thrustmaster setup. And from my experience, I've had a reasonable amount of time using the Fanatic CSL, and to be honest, in my opinion, it's not worth the extra money over the Thrustmaster wheelbase. They're both belt driven, they're both pretty smooth. You know, there's always an element of notchiness when if you just use your fingertips and you just turn the wheel a little bit at a time, you can feel the notches ever so slightly. But when you're racing, or when you just move it a bit faster like this, you don't feel it at all. You know, it feels lovely and smooth, and that's really important, especially comparing to, you know, the Logitech G920. That's gear driven, you know, and it's much more notchy and much more coggy because it does use cogs. So it's a pretty smooth belt driven setup. The torque is very similar to the Fanatic. I believe they're almost identical. In my experience, the responsiveness is just as good as well. You know, and it's that bit cheaper with a wheel, whichever package you go with. And then if you want to buy the aftermarket Thrustmaster wheels, they're about 180 to 200 pounds, but that's as expensive as they go. They're all a similar price. I think, I would have to check to be exact. But the Fanatic ones go from 180 right up to sort of 350, 400 pounds just for a wheel. So quite a much more expensive ecosystem. Now I do have Fanatic products. I have the Fanatic shifter and I have the V3 pedals, because the Thrustmaster pedals not really that great, but then they're priced accordingly. Haven't yet tried their new ones with the load cell in, but you know, I've watched some reviews, and again, they're still a bit plasticky compared to the Fanatic V3s, but the price, you know, the price difference is there. Anyway, waffling on, we want to know about the TS PC, don't we? So yeah, there's your pricing structure. There's the different wheels available. There's the different packages for PC, Xbox PC, PlayStation. There's your comparison between the Fanatic belt-driven setup. Very, very similar. You almost wouldn't know the difference. So unless you particularly want the brand, I would go with this one. You know, to answer the question, is it a good wheelbase? Yeah, it is a good wheelbase. That's why I've had it for 2 years, and that's why I'm not that worried about upgrading yet, because the next step is a big one, to direct drive. So that's going to cost a lot of money, but it'll happen at some point. You know, we all do it when money allows. But for a belt-driven wheel that doesn't cost the earth, but still isn't cheap, it's a really good option. I will put links in the description, both to eBay and Amazon and the Thrustmaster website. So depending when you view the video, you may be able to go through and buy one, or perhaps look for some second-hand ones. What else can we talk about, really? It bolts on using two bolts or a clamp underneath. The clamp works reasonably well, but hard mounting it is always better. The only thing I will say about the hard mounting option, the 2 bolts are kind of about here, but from underneath. It does allow the base to just tilt back and forward slightly, should you be tilting it backwards and forwards. I mean, it's not something you perhaps might notice. You certainly don't notice it when you're driving, but I just noticed it because it is kind of just pivoting on that point there. But yeah, that's how it mounts. You've got the clamp option. You've got, what have we got on here? We've got 4 buttons on the wheelbase here that just act as normal inputs, bar the mode button, which I've actually forgotten what it does. I'll have to Google that and add it in the description for you. It's not something I've ever used. I can't think what that does for the life of me now. No, I have no idea. But whatever it is, I haven't used it. And when I did know what it did, I concluded I would never use it, which is why I've never used it and why I can't remember what it is. But this is the joy of making videos off the cuff without any scripting. I should have looked up what that mode button does. But I'll look it up and I'll write it in the description. But there's a mode button, and then you've got 3 other buttons that are just, you know, normal programmable inputs. You've got your paddles, but to be honest, the paddles are specific to the wheel I'm using, so I can't really, you know, I won't comment on how they are referencing the wheelbase because they don't come with it. But yeah, what else could we say about this? It's responsive, it's smooth, the torque is plenty for the average person. One other thing about direct drive wheels is that they have way more torque than we actually need as sim racers for the most part. This has enough torque to give you the detail in the road, to let you know what's going on with your wheels, and it's quick enough. Response time-wise to give you that feedback in a timely fashion as well. Some of the lower end wheels are just a little bit slower, like the Logitech for example. It's a good entry-level wheel, don't get me wrong. If that's your budget, it's the one you should definitely get. But this is noticeably quicker and more responsive, as well as obviously being double the power as well. So I suppose the only other thing is noise levels, how noisy it is. So in fact, let's hop into Dirt Rally, and I'll just do a quick 30-second. Sorry, I'm trying to look behind my little heads-up display here to get Dirt Rally up. Yeah, there it is. I'll do a quick 30 seconds. The microphone's here, so it's pretty close, you know, to the wheelbase. In fact, I may even just move a touch closer for you. The game sounds are going to be pretty quiet, so you'll hear, I mean, if you listen now, it doesn't really sound any different to that, but that's me turning the motor rather than the motor turning the wheel. So let's just do a little 30-second run and see if you can hear anything. I've got my motion platform off, I've got my wind off, so I'll shut up in a second and lean forward and you can just have a little listen. I'm trying to change gear really quietly because it's quite a solid gear stick and you'll probably hear that. And I'm trying to press the pedals quietly as well. But yeah, as you can hear, there's pretty much, you know, there's no real noise to speak of. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, there's no real noise to speak of from it. You know, a lot of people say like the Logitech G920 is quite a noisy wheel, and by comparison to the belt-driven ones, it is quite noisy. But as you could hear, you know, that was really quite quiet. So so yeah, I think this is a really good wheelbase. I'm also really happy with this R383 wheel that I use, but maybe I'll do a different video about that, just going through it, because there are some interesting points. Yeah, no, I'm really happy with the TS PC Racer. If you can't afford to go direct drive, if you don't want to go Fanatic ecosystem and you're upgrading from a Logitech or one of the lower end Thrustmaster wheels, this is definitely the one to get in my opinion. I do prefer the extra power over the TX or T300 depending what platform you're on. I think it was worth the extra money for me personally. So yeah, I'd recommend it over one of those. If you've got one of those and you think about upgrading, which is what I did, again, it's worth the upgrade if the extra £100 is worth spending to you, you know. If money's really tight, then no, don't. Stay with your, pardon me, stay with your TX, stay with your T300, because it isn't that much of a leap. But if you've got the spare cash and you want the best there is before you step up to DD from Thrustmaster, then yeah, go ahead and get this one. As I say, it's a good selection of wheels. The torque is good, it's responsive, it's smooth, you know, unless you're just doing this and you can feel the individual notches on the belt. I'm guessing that's what I can feel there. But it's smooth, it's responsive, it's torquey. You know, I really can't fault it, to be honest. I've had no issues with it over the 2 years I've had it. And rally driving's hard going on a wheelbase. Well, it's hard going on everything, to be honest. You know, you've got lots of rapid steering inputs, counter steering, and you know, switching and sliding all over the place. You know, circuit-based racing can often be a much smoother input because you're trying not to slide the back end of your car out all over the place. So it's taken a beating, still in one piece. I haven't noticed any loss of performance. I haven't noticed any additional noise. Nothing's fallen to pieces. Nothing's wore out. You know, I've not had it overheat. And speaking of overheating, in the UK this week, we're seeing some ridiculous temperatures. So if I look sweaty, I am sweaty. I'm upstairs in my games room and I think it's 28 degrees in here already, and it's only about 10:30 in the morning. So bugger me if it, you know, it's hot. Excuse a sweaty forehead. But yes, not overheated, not had any issues with it whatsoever. I've got it coupled with Fanatic pedals and shifter. I did have Thrustmaster TH8A shifter, I upgraded from that. And the pedals I had before these Fanatics were the Logitech ones. I haven't tried the Thrustmaster pedals. Sorry, I have tried them. I've never owned any Thrustmaster pedals, but they're not great. But that's another story. It's another video. But yeah, so TS PC Racer in 2020, or TSXW, or TGT, depending on your platform. Definitely worth a punt. Definitely a good upgrade from the lower models. I would choose this over the Fanatic wheelbase only because of the cost. That's the simple reason. And I particularly like this wheel, but Fanatic have a good range of wheels as well. So yes, that's pretty much it, guys. That's my sort of 2-year in review of the Thrustmaster TS PC Racer. There'll be links and stuff in the description if I can find anything for you, to buy. And if you're watching this down the road, hopefully stock will be back in again. Any questions about it, stick them in the comments, or any questions about anything else you see on my rig here. I know sometimes people ask me what I'm running on the heads-up display and what my handbrake is and all this sort of stuff. Stick them all in the comments, and there'll be videos coming about all those sort of things too as well. But have a great weekend as always. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. Thanks for my supporters. Oh yeah, and speaking of supporters, some of you might have seen my post about Next Level Racing. They got in touch. They're sending me over an FGT Lite for review. GT Omega are also sending me over one of their wheel stands for review, and potentially their Titan cockpit in a little while also. So things are coming along with the channel, which is not bad for when did I start this? Last week in November, 28th of November, I put out my first video. With the intention of actually making a channel. So 6-month growth is pretty good. We ticked over 5,000 subscribers as well earlier in the week. So that's really good. And it's because of all you guys watching and subscribing that the likes of Next Level Racing have contacted me, are sending me a few bits and pieces, and the same for GT Omega, and Sim Racing Studio, and all the other ones that send stuff over to help us out. We've also got magnetic shifter mod coming for the Logitech G920, and that should be here soon. That's being sent over as well. So lots more to come. Setup videos, people are asking me for setup videos. They're coming too. It's just a lot to squeeze in. I'm a relatively busy guy, so I will get to everything as and when I can. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. As always, take it easy.